Howdy mates, how are we doing? Good morning still. So here's a part 2 video in which I wanted to talk a bit more about some of the ecology as well as some of the conservation that much of the current freshwater springs are facing out here in Florida. So as noted in my last video, we are indeed at a freshwater spring. This is specifically at Silver Springs. Finally, it got a little sunny out, so we can really see into the water very well. Some of you may be wondering, like, why does it have a bit of a blue appearance? Well, as a matter of fact, it's not because of the sky, but rather how it works is sunlight that is passing through, when it hits the water, that light is refracted. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is the light is slowed down and it reaches a medium. So a good way to make an analogy with refraction is it's kind of like it's like a reflection, in a sense. More of like a ricochet, more than anything. So that's why you have a bit of that bluish appearance that are typically associated with springs, but not all of them. However, though, something I'm sure you have noticed too is, see some of those fish down there? I don't know how well you can see it based on the lighting, but you could find a combination of catfish, bass, and there's even a non-native variety, which is known as blue tilapia. And for those of you who don't know, tilapia is originally based out of Africa, as a matter of fact. Typically what tilapia do in these springs, they'll go to the bottom of the stream and they will form these round nests that they will highly protect if they can. They're kind of like alligator holes, if you have an idea of what those look like visually. But so the other subject of this video that I wanted to talk about is the conservation of these springs. So Florida in general has the most concentrated springs in a given area. Some say there could be as much as 1,000, which of course is an approximation. There could still be some that we don't even know about. So that is literally one of the highest concentrations of springs in the United States, most likely the world. So it's a lot to brag about in the state of Florida. So as I mentioned in my video, the springs are a major source of the state's income due to recreation and tourism. That's pretty much the number one industry in the state. However, though, there is one particular company that poses as a threat to our springs. You know what company that is? I'm sure some of you have heard of them. People often associate them with chocolate production, but that's not necessarily true. They also make beverages. This company that I speak of is also known as Nestlé. So Nestlé is basically a multi-billion-dollar company, very, very corporate, and pretty much what the company does, they're very infamous, is they're known for their extraction of natural resources. And they don't really treat the earth as their mother. Rather, they see it more as a means of making profit. So typically what Nestlé does, they'll use all different types of water pumps so that they can take as much water as they can. And pretty much what they'll do is they'll just extract that water and then make bottled water. And the thing is, the controversy around bottled water is the fact that it's single-use plastic. And so, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the subject of plastic pollution. That's happening on a global scale. I mean, a great example is the Pacific Ocean garbage patch that's basically near the middle, somewhat. That spans for hundreds of miles. So that's why generally, when you are using water or need water, you should always have a reusable water jug. That way you are reducing your carbon footprint, and you're also reducing that contribution of single-use plastic. I mean, I'll be honest with you, water bottles, the original intention for them was to be used for emergency purpose, such as after a natural disaster. But the thing is, though, with most bottled water, it's purified. So what that means when they're purified is there's no minerals, such as iron, for example. So essentially, yeah, you drink that water, but it's not as nourishing. And for another controversy around bottled water is it could be laced with heavy metals, such as that of arsenic, for example. I mean, I'll be sure to clarify, but there's just a lot of controversy around that. So let me break this up into a second video because I'm seeing the time and it's already hitting 8 minutes. So, alright. Journey on a journey is outwards. Take care, folks.